Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 124 allows individuals who have let their driver's license expire within the last 5 years to apply to have it reinstated. If the license was a commercial driver's license, a driver would not have to retake their skills and knowledge test. If it is an operator's license, the driver would not have to retake the written or driving test. This only applies if the driver lets their license expire, not if it was suspended, withdrawn, revoked, or disqualified. The only exception is if the state suspended or revoked a CDL license because a driver did not provide their medical certification. In that case, the driver could still apply for renewal for their CDL with the same requirements. A driver seeking a CDL would have to submit a medical certification, and a driver self-certification is required under KRS 281A140. They would also undergo a criminal background check and review of their driving record. If the CDL had a hazardous materials endorsement, the driver would have to complete any exam required to reinstate that endorsement before the state renewed their CDL. Drivers seeking to have an operator's license renewed would have to submit a vision test and undergo a review of their driving record. This bill has an emergency clause to help get more CDL drivers on the road quickly, and that is in there to help with the driver shortage that we're experiencing with the national supply chain. Mr. Speaker, ask the clerk to report the House Committee Sub 1, please.
Clerk, please report.
House Committee Substitute 1 to Senate Bill 124.
Gentleman Christian.
Thank you. The committee sub addresses an issue with overweight vehicles. Currently, KRS lets trucks hauling building materials exceed the weight limit, but only if the materials are for the construction of a home. The substitute clarifies that trucking companies use that exemption must have a building permit from the local government for the home under construction. And this will ensure the haulers don't just claim to be building a home to be able to get around the law. Mr. Speaker, I move adoption of House Committee Sub 1.
Motion is for the adoption of House Committee Substitute 1. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, those in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. House Committee Substitute 1 is adopted. Gentleman from Christian.
Mr. Speaker, I yield now to the gentleman from McCracken.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from McCracken, who's been waiting patiently.
I'm new here. What am I supposed to Mr. Speaker, would you have the clerk report House Floor Amendment 1?
Clerk, please report.
House Floor Amendment 1 to Senate Bill 124.
Gentleman from McCracken.
Mr. Speaker, House Floor Amendment 1 is an amendment dealing with the part that the gentleman described with the Senate or with the House Committee Substitute, and it clarifies that for agricultural purposes that it would not apply by deleting Section 6 and Section 8 in their entirety. It's actually unnecessary with the other provisions of the bill, but just to remove all doubt and concern, we want to go ahead and do that. Mr. Speaker, I would move adoption of House Floor Amendment 1.
Motion is for the adoption of House Floor Amendment 1. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, those in favor signify by voting aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. House Floor Amendment 1 is adopted. Gentleman from Christian, none.
Mr. Speaker, if there are no questions, I'd move passage of Senate Bill 124 as amended by House Committee Sub 1 and House Floor Amendment 1.